our number one policy right now across the country is we're trying to get the gray wolf delisted. We believe that is the number one threat, not only to hunting, but if you will bear with me, I think it's a broader play for the liberal left. Because how many times, and you're obviously big NRA, big gun guy, big Second Amendment guy, how many times do you hear the left come out and say, we're not coming for your deer rifles, or we're not coming for your hunting guns. We just want all the rest of them. You don't need to have this. You don't need to have that. Oh, but by the way, there's a difference between a gun if it's used for hunting. Not our distinction, their distinction. And so
yes, I know what you're talking about.
If we had a world, Michael, where there were no deer, no elk, no moose, there would be no hunting. If there's no hunting, there's no hunters. If there's no hunting and no hunters, then there are, by definition, no hunting guns. So then they just become all the rest. Then guns are just guns and we want them. You don't need them. It's not a tool anymore for hunting. It's just something we're going to confiscate from you, or we're going to regulate it away. So the left has come into this long-term play, and hunters are late to the party on this issue, Michael. They're using the gray wolf to do what they can't do in a fair fight straight up. There's no way in the world, because of our Second Amendment, because of the strength of the NRA and the regrowth and birth of the NRA under its new current awesome leadership, there's no way the left is going to be able to legislate our guns away. It's just not going to happen. They're going to have to do it in a backhanded way. So they've released wolves. They've released wolves all across the West and up in the Great Lakes, and they're spreading it down to Colorado. They've released them down in the Southwest. And what has happened with that release? The liberal left, they've embraced it in such a way that, oh my gosh, what a great success story. We have wolves back. But what's the price? The price is deer. The price is elk. The price is moose. Take the state of Wisconsin, for example. In the year 2000, the deer rifle harvest was over 610,000 deer. And then at that time, there was just a handful of wolves in the state. Now, there's some estimates that have the wolves well over 3,000, and the deer harvest in 2023 was 210,000. It was the lowest in recorded history in Wisconsin. And how many more years of wolf proliferation and no management will it take till we get to that critical point where we can no longer recruit young deer, and that'll be the end of it? And so, but again, the left, for all their PETA, for all their defenders of wildlife rhetoric, they don't really care about this wildlife. It's a tool for them to an end, which is to wipe out conservatism, to wipe out capitalism, to wipe out really our American freedoms, and they're playing the long game. So Hunter Nation is trying to inform the American hunter, listen, if you don't get active, these people that hate you, hate your lifestyle, despise the America that you love, they're voting in droves. And so we've had a really good run here in the last few years of getting turned. We turned out more hunters in 2024 than ever. We'll get into some of those numbers in a minute. But it starts with policy. Recently in the state of Pennsylvania, it's hard to imagine this, Michael, but in Pennsylvania, up until 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, you can't hunt on Sundays. Think about this. You're a working guy in a factory, mandatory overtime on Saturday. You get 1 day a week to hunt, and that's Sunday, and you got to juggle that with church and other family things. It's unconscionable that they would say you can only hunt certain days a year in the United States. Well, Hunter Nation worked very diligently on that issue. We thought we were going to get it done last year. We didn't, but we recently got Sunday hunting passed in Pennsylvania. So now hunters can enjoy the great outdoors and hunt and recreate with their family and friends on Sunday now in Pennsylvania. A number of other issues that we've been involved in a number of different states, but we need these policy fights and wins so the American hunter realizes that Hunter Nation's actually out there taking on the tough issues, Michael, and none bigger than the wolf. If we can get this wolf solved, and I'm on a mission, Hunter Nation's on a mission. If we can get that solved, Michael, I think it's going to be the biggest pro-hunting, pro-conservative America legislation in a long, long time.
Well, why are we putting our thumb on the scale? And you're telling me that when the wolves do what wolves do, which is devour everything else, that the hunter won't have anything to hunt, that his rifle will become rusty. He'll get rid of it because he'll say, well, I haven't used this thing. I haven't hunted in years because there's nothing to hunt. I just sold it. Either that or we'll come in now because this is the last refuge for the anti-gunner and say, well, you're not using it. You don't need that anyway. Or we're going to regulate or constrict hunting because of numbers are out of whack, and we're only going to let you shoot one or two because the numbers are way down. I had never considered it like that. Am I getting this right? Am I regurgitating this accurately?
No, 100%. And think about this, right? It's even bigger than that, too. Hunters really are the last bastion of a large group of conservative America. And that's really the truth. And that's why when we went into this 24 election, we knew if we could motivate this demographic in numbers never seen before, that we could shape the future direction of America. And we were able to do that. And like I said, I know we're going to get into some of these numbers. It's going to blow you away. Imagine if we did not have this block of conservative hunters to turn to in 2024 that literally was the difference in 4 of the 5 key swing states. What would have happened? Here's the other thing, too. Think about Bill Gates and the left and all these people talking about farming and ranching, cow farts causing climate. So there's a direct attack on farming and ranching. And why is that? It makes no sense on its surface, right? But again, rural America, farmers, ranchers are conservative by nature. The left wants to destroy. They're the last bastion of families that have, 2-parent homes. And you know what I'm saying? Rural America is really what America used to be all across demographics. They want to destroy that fabric of America. Wolves are the ticket. They tried to attack them on climate change and everybody laughed at them. So what they're doing now is unlimited wolves are destroying agriculture and ranching and farming activities in all of the states where wolves are not managed. And so think about this too. We're now seeing, and Hunter Nation's doing an entire documentary on how wolves they've eaten so many deer in Wisconsin and eaten up the livestock. They continue to grow. That food source is diminished. So what wolves are doing now in Wisconsin is they're decimating rural and suburban pets. And so you would think PETA and all these, oh my gosh, animals have feelings, fish have feelings. They should be all over this. Dead, silent crickets. And again, what this shows you is the left is smart. They're cunning. They're playing a long game. And so they're destroying incremental segments of conservative America in a way that most people aren't even catching. And that's why we're here. We're going to fight them. Every day is a Concord Bridge moment for us, Michael.
This conversation so far has been hugely illuminating. And you've put together some puzzle pieces for me. Frankly, Keith, I didn't understand it this way. I'm really, really glad we're having this conversation. We have property in southern Colorado, and the neighbors out there, and myself included, are absolutely beside ourselves because a ballot initiative ushered in the wolves reintroduction in Colorado, which has just been in the last year and a half or 2 years or something like that. And I thought to myself, well, what are we doing here that we put this out there for a public vote? And when they voted that in Colorado, I don't remember the number exactly, but I want to say they made it by the skin of their teeth. They had to get half, and I think it was literally like 51% or something.
Not even, just a tad over 50.
Was that it?
Yep.
Okay, so just a fraction of enough to make this work. So basically, for lack of saying it a better way, mob rule. Okay. So 50% plus one showed up. So now we've got the angry mob plus one, and now it's working for us. And then I thought, well, how bad and I was talking with some ranchers at one of the local cafes. which started off a little tough because we got then the argument about grass-fed beef versus corn-fed beef. I'm, from Iowa. I enjoy beef where it's actually raised well and tastes really, really good. They like it with a bunch of grass. Like, sorry, that stuff's horrible. So no fist fight, but it was getting tense for a minute. Anyway, we started talking about the wolf thing, and I said, well, it makes me wonder what the motivation is here because they have introduced so few. I said, I want to say that there was only like 18 or 20 or 12 or something like that. It was very, very small numbers. I figured they'd be doing hundreds. And the rancher corrected me. He's like, well, it won't matter. He's like, these packs will grow. He said, it'll take a little while, but he said, they'll grow exponentially. He said, because they have all kinds of things to eat. He's like, there's all kinds of elk. There's all kinds of deer. And he said, and there's all kinds of calves. So he said, and there's some sheep out here and some hogs, but he said, there's all kinds of stuff where people still take you know how this works. They take their cattle up in the mountains and they open graze and then they bring them all back down. And then they count them and they take their lumps when there's a whole bunch missing, and so the wolves, according to them, and I think they're right, will manage to really get a foothold and then they'll devour things. And so I was asking myself, well, why is this such a big deal? Why are they on a mission to reintroduce something that selection, logistics, conflict with man? We can't say that isn't an issue. These all took place, but they led to an outcome. And the equation is, for lack of a better way of saying it,